We're here.
We are here.
Yeah.
I know.
I feel like I'm sitting like with a professional.
I'm glad you think of me as a professional.
So this is my first video. This is your like 100th?
Yeah, it's been a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. You're being honest.
I think it's about 100.
About 100.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tell me, who are you?
I am Jared Levinson. I'm at eatingenlightenment.com. If you go to the website, it has a big picture of me smiling, and I say, I teach Buddhist concepts to intelligent men and women to stop food cravings and binge eating.
But only intelligent men and women.
Yeah, I found that. Yeah, if you're dumb, you're out of luck. No, no. A lot of people are they're great at their job, they're productive, and they are intelligent, Mm-hmm. But food is just like what?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of information out there.
Yeah.
And a lot of misinformation. Well, it's all just information.
Totally.
Right?
No, there's so much information out there, and dieting is simple. Dieting is lose weight, eat less food, lose weight. It's very simple. It's attractive. It really F's people up, and with all this information out there, people do tend to just try dieting, and it kind of starts a vicious cycle for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So this information stuff is tough.
Yeah. Okay, so going back to still, who are you?
Sure. Mm-hmm. What would you like to know?
I just want you to answer that however you want. And this is the last time I'm going to answer that.
Okay, sure.
I purposefully...
I think a big part of my story is the Zen Monk, the Zen monastery. Another big part of my story, which isn't on the website, but I used to play piano. And I hated it. I'd bang my hands on the piano until they were like, not bleeding, but you can imagine bleeding. Just bang on them. Yeah. I was very furious. I didn't know how to control my emotions. Didn't know anything about looking inward. I just didn't know anything about my own emotions. Anything.
Yeah, but how old were you?
18.
Oh, okay.
And meditation finally starts like saying, hey, look inward. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know much about emotions at that time, but I was upset. Like I have, I will think, I will overthink, I will overanalyze. Mm-hmm. And so I had gotten into philosophy, and philosophy was like a torturous loop because it's a minefield. There's no, everyone disagrees in philosophy. There's no one that everyone agrees upon. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so finally Zen Buddhism was like, Zen Buddhism's like screw the words. Like it's not about the words. Yeah. It's about the direct experience. And so someone was speaking to my heart. Mm-hmm. And then so I did, long story short, skipped college graduation, went to the Zen monastery, Tassajara. It's off the coast of California. Yeah. Stayed there for 13 months. I got over some food struggles there. Master's degree came after that in counseling. Nice. And then being in Silicon Valley, I got bit by the entrepreneur bug, and I started seeing. I was a personal trainer. But in personal training, it never was a fit for me. I was like, why do people are coming to me about weight loss and control and meal planning, and they're this willpower thing. Mm-hmm. But in Zen Buddhism, it's all about more about opening. It's more about exploring. It's a whole different approach to transformation. So, so that's kind of what led me here. Yeah. To this eating thing.
So, how did you find meditation?
This is a cool story. It was when I think I was 18, but I was in Minnesota. We were going bookstore shopping, and I had been into.
Wait, you were shopping for bookstores?
No, that's a good question. No. Okay, so this is how I got into Zen Buddhism. To get into meditation, actually, I was reading a Carl Jung book, Memories and Dreams, and there was a little quote in there that said, close your eyes and let your mind go. And so, like, the first time I tried meditation based off that, I had this crazy vision quest, and I've never had that sense. Like, I've never really had that sense, but there were dwarves, and
you weren't on drugs.
I was not on drugs. I just, like, I just sat on the couch and
crazy.
let my mind wander and tried to,
For your first time.
And the dwarves ended up at a cauldron, and the thing that boiled up. It was like gold, but it was like a value. It was like, and it was patience. And so I was like, I am impatient. Like, I need to be more patient. There is something here to this meditation thing. This is good. And so that's what got me into meditation. Zen Buddhism, we were going to bookstores looking for this book called Three Pillars of Zen. That book has gotten a lot of people started on Three Pillars of Zen, great read. But I remember I looked for it, I couldn't find it, and then I check out a different book. I think it was about the Upanishads. I forget how to say it.
Upanishads.
Yeah. And but that book didn't have the barcode. There's like a little. They couldn't scan it or whatever, so I had to put it back. And then I found the Three Pillars of Zen. It's like, this is so random. Like, when do you check out a book and have it not like check out?
When
and
it was meant to be.
Yeah, it felt meant to be. Like, it felt meant to be. Yeah, and then after that, I remember sitting in cross full lotus and doing all sorts of stuff based on that book. And I wouldn't recommend full lotus. It's very painful. But that's kind of how my journey got started.
So how did you get into yoga?
I was at Tassajara. Before that, my mom had taken a... Okay. Before that, my mom had taken a yoga class and told me about it. I was always like, she's like, oh, you should try yoga. And I was really into weightlifting. I was wrestling at that time. That's kind of where I started my struggles with food, was with wrestling, because you weight cut and do all this stuff. But anyways, I was really into like being fit, super fit, like hard workouts. And I was like, Mom, this yoga stuff is like, are you kidding me? Like, this is great. This is, your fluffy thing over there. But yeah, and so now fast forward maybe, 3 or 4 years or 5 years, and I'm at Tassajara. There's, you're in nature. There's no electronics. You work 8 hours, but then you got the day off. A lot of times people are just... I don't know. So I was like, there's nothing else to do. There is a yoga retreat going on right now. I might as well join in. Like, you could do that. They allowed it and everything.
Yeah.
And so I went in there, and it was all about breathing and movement, very meditative. And then it was like, oh shit, this is a tough workout. It's like, oh shit, this is tough. I was like, yeah. And it's so funny when you get someone in the gym who's strong, like lifting wise, and then they try to like, they can't even like touch their back, and they, they're, so that was me. I'm like,
touch their elbows.
Yeah, it's funny. Some of my weightlifting friends will take like an easy yoga class and be like, whoo, that was hard. And so that was totally me. I don't know if the class is that hard, but it was tough, and that kind of opened my mind up to it. Yeah. But also the main thing though, after Tassajara, I was like, spiritual community is so important. Like, you gotta have, by spiritual, I mean positive, healthy, nice people around you that support you. I was like, this is so important. Where can I find this? That's what got me into yoga teacher training. I'm like, okay, if I become a yoga teacher, then I'll probably, naturally have these people around me.
Yeah.
They're probably into meditation as well. I'm into meditation. So that was the thought process behind it.
But so then you did your YTT, and was it everything you dreamed of? No, it wasn't. Yeah.
But it's okay. Got me started, and but it was good too. I mean, it was good. I'd recommend it. It's a great experience. 200 hours of yoga, basically.
Yeah.
It's gonna change you.
Yeah. Definitely.
So that was worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it everything? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it ever is. I think everyone
either...
because you confront this truth that of like all the expectations you hold for things. It confronts your expectations. Yeah. So when
it might be very hopeful, then
and when something doesn't turn out the way you hoped, you're just like, shit.
It's kind of like this whole thing with weight loss too, just coming back to food, but oftentimes people have this thing that, if I lose weight, then I will be happy. And it's what I teach is eating enlightenment. It's like enlightenment moment, you flip it, it's like 180. It's like, be happy first, and maybe the weight comes off naturally.
Going on your college journey, and did you ever find like relief? Support?
Well, I mean, in some ways, no. In some ways, yeah. I did connect with a blind Zen monk. So this is how I got into Zen Buddhism as well. I made a friend. And I remember he was blind. And so I'd go over like every week and help him clean.
That's awesome.
And he'd pay me $20 sometimes. I don't think it was all the time. And then he'd like tell me Zen stories.
Yeah.
We meditate.
And he was a college student?
He would lead like a meditation group. So I'd like help clean up before the meditation group. I'd come over like maybe an hour early and then we'd do the meditation group and then, no, he was not a college professor, but he was like really close to the campus. I met him through a college professor, but no, he wasn't a college professor, yeah.
So you were looking for help?
Yeah, I was. And this time I was meditating. Like I was studying Buddhism. I was doing mindfulness. That was not about, like at this point, I really didn't know about eating disorders. Again, like I felt horrible and I was hiding, sometimes we hide stuff from ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I didn't know I had a problem with food. Like, I knew that I had a problem with food, but I didn't know that it was a problem. I don't know. Yeah. It's weird how this stuff goes. Just like, I'll fix it in the future, or like, it was, maybe you make rationalizations like, oh, this is just a stressful day. Justifications, yeah. I don't know, like, so yeah, at some point though, I do say enough is enough. I'm going to become a monk. I mean, I'm desperate, crazy enough, unhappy enough to like seriously think I'm going to be a monk for the rest of my life. So
did you ever go to a monastery?
Yeah, I spent 13 months there.
Wow.
Yeah, 13 is over a year of my life after college. Yeah. So.
Oh, that was what you skipped graduation for.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. To do that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So that Zen monk kind of said, hey, they do this thing at Tassajara where you can go there for a while and it's free and you work and and you can do that, and
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So how was that experience?
That was it was good. It was healing for sure. That's where I got over binge eating there. I remember I had a schedule where I'd work 4 days and then on the 5th day I had the day off, and on the 5th day I could go get bag lunch. And bag lunch is like, Tassajara is a unique little thing. It's where it's a kind of a Zen, not a resort, Zen hotel. Like people from San Francisco, the Bay Area, all over the world, they come and they stay there, and the monks like keep their rooms clean and so they stay there, and part of the service provided by the monastery is this fabulous display of lunches and there's bags, so people put their they get Tupperware and they go on a hike, right? So it's like the fanciest hiking ever. Like they're getting like this much Tupperware, and they're loaded up with like breads and spreads and cheeses and like all these, I don't know, random cookies and sweets, and it is deluxe. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
I don't expect that from a Zen retreat center.
Yeah, this is like the Wild West of Zen. Like this is on the frontier. This is combining capitalism. It's combining legit Zen Buddhism. It's combining Bay Area culture. It's combining a whole lot of things in the middle of nowhere.
Sounds like they got it figured out.
They got it figured out, yeah. They're legit.
So you went there, you healed. You healed?
I healed, yeah. But I remember in the beginning, on the 5th day, I would still like eat so much for bag lunch.
Yeah.
But and I go back and just pass out in my room. But this time I'm like, I have no homework. I'm meditating like a couple hours a day. I'm talking to, they do these things where you talk one-on-one. It's called dokusan. I forget the Japanese word, but I think it's like a meeting of the minds. You talk with a teacher. I was talking with the teacher once a week. They have, for the first portion of the meal, you have to eat silently and you eat mindfully and slowly. And a big thing too, also in hindsight, is that there was an eating schedule. Like, I can't stress how important it is if you're beginning this healing process to eat regularly.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know this at the time, but yeah, there was an eating schedule and I had to follow it.
Yeah.
And so that was really good. I got all this chance to basically, the eating schedule probably normalized me, but then the self-reflection, the ability to, the language I started having around feeling emotions, the ability to tolerate uncomfortable feelings was increasing with my meditation. Just relaxing, just freaking relaxing. Like they had a sauna there and I was doing a lot more self-care. And so, yeah, the binges started going down.
What made the binges go down?
I think it was those factors for sure.
But like, I feel like what I'm getting at is what that mental switch
yeah. Well, I think it was like, what was it? It was kind of like there was less panic around food. It was kind of like, it was more, I don't want to do this. Like, this is not cool. Like, I don't want to eat so much that I pass out. Like, this isn't what I want. And then it's like, kind of, I think it was more of that. It was like, what's going on? You're trying to be enlightened. You can't be enlightened. And at that time, I really was trying to be enlightened. Like, I'm not anymore in the traditional sense, but I was meditating. I was, really trying to meditate hard and everything. And,
well, it worked.
Yeah,
it helped you out of your
it helped me out. Yeah, I got a purpose, right?
Yeah.
I said, this is not who I am. I think that's a really important thing for people too, is finding that something, and it goes in combination. Like if you find something and you're not eating regularly, you're way too stressed out. It's gonna overwhelm you. But if you are eating regularly, if you are taking care of yourself, then and you find a purpose. And you have some language about how to deal with this shit up here, and then you could be like, okay, holy shit, this urge right now is coming up. Let me try to hold it off for like 30 minutes. And if I want it after 30 minutes, then I can have it. Oh, and self-compassion too. Like, that was huge. Like not beating yourself up. That is huge. That is so important. I think that was a big thing too, like letting go of the past. Like, okay, I overate. Like, here's my mind, like doing its thing, like trashing me and like try harder next time. And, like you're not good enough and you're an imposter, be trying to meet up here. And yeah. And then, but it was like, okay, like, there's just like, I kind of, you just learn to not take your mind so seriously.
Yeah.
And that's what meditation is teaching you too. So it was like, because sometimes before too, I would keep eating, like even after I was full. Yeah. So as I stopped punishing myself, I stopped eating as much. And, time goes by, a few months go by. It just kind of decreases.
Because it's a practice.
It's just a practice. Yeah, it is a practice.
You mentioned self-care earlier, and
Sure,
that was actually one of my questions for you is, what does self-care look like for you now?
Self-care is a skill that, like, this is an important thing. It's a skill. Like, you get better at it the more you practice it. It's gotten to be, like, elaborate for me. Not in an obsessive way, not in an OCD way, but I've gone through various domains of life where I learned to take care of myself. Like I've explored sleep, and then it's like an upward spiral. So you explore sleep, and you try to connect socially more with people, and you try to eat healthier, and you try to figure out exercise, and you try to figure out how to calm yourself down with journaling or emotional freedom techniques or whatever. You try to meditate to calm down. So these are some common self-care things, learning how to calm yourself down. And these pieces start fitting together, and then you go around again and you say, oh, okay, here's how I refine my sleep habits. Here's how I refine my eating habits. Here's how I refine it. And like, oftentimes I'll come back to the same point and it'll make way more sense. Like with sleep, it's not like I figured out sleep over in one go. I used to sleep horribly.
Yeah.
Not horribly, but
Could have been better.
it could have been a lot better. I'd lay in bed for hours, couldn't go to bed. Now I'm getting much more 7 to 8 depending on the day, and I fall asleep quick. But that, you know, in the beginning they say turn off electricity before bed, or don't have caffeine. And I'd try these things, but self-care is holistic. So unless you got the meditation piece, the exercise piece, the health piece, like you can know all the sleep stuff, but you need to incorporate these other aspects. And as you incorporate these other aspects, then sleep will get more clarity. And same with everything else too. As you sleep more, then nutrition will make sense and everything. So it all goes together, but you kind of go like that. It's an upward spiral. You fall down, you reflect, you learn, and you go back at it again.
That's a really great way to see self-care, because the popular mainstream way to see self-care is
go
like,
take a spa, go to a spa, like just
eat a
go on
pint
a
of ice cream.
vacation, go on a vacation. Go on a vacation. Like that's bullshit. Like you can't do self-care at the end of the week. Like you need to do it during
every
the day.
day.
It's every day, every couple hours at least.
Until it gets to the point where your whole life is self-care.
Kinda, yeah. It's certainly like integrated into your life. And it's becomes a skill. It becomes more second nature, and kind of more automatic in these things.
Well, because like you said, you're building up your own foundation and support system, and the more you build, the taller you get. And sometimes the storm comes and knocks you down a little bit, but you just keep building.
Yeah.
It's not just like a one-shot type of thing.
It's not a one-shot type of thing. Yeah. That's funny.
I think that's everything I have for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Probably just do a formal close up here.
Formal close up. Got you.